renewable energy atau energi terbarukan. Dengan mengembangkan produk pada lingkup energi terbarukan ini, Catur Elang Perkasa turut mendukung pemerintah dalam pengembangan energi terbarukan untuk pembangunan berkelanjutan. Solar cell, jumlah energi yang begitu besar yang dihasilkan dari sinar matahari membuat solar cell menjadi alternatif sumber energi. Selain itu, juga dapat menjadi sumber energi yang praktis, tidak membutuhkan transmisi karena dapat dipasang secara modular di setiap lokasi yang membutuhkan. Saat ini, pengembangan di lingkup PT Catur Elang Perkasa masih dalam tahap riset. Rencananya, dalam hal ini akan bekerja sama dengan Jinko Solar dan akan banyak dikembangkan di kawasan yang berlokasi di pesisir kepulauan. Dalam pengembangan wind energy ini, PT Catur Elang Perkasa akan bekerja sama dengan Nordex Energy, Enercon, dan Vestas yang ahli dalam wind turbine. Untuk wind energy ini nantinya akan dikembangkan di lokasi yang memiliki lapangan terbuka dan daerah perkebunan juga pertanian, tentu saja yang cukup berangin. Mini hydro. Pengembangan energi terbarukan mini hydro merupakan salah satu dari National Renewable Energy atau NRE yang saat ini pekerjaannya sudah mulai berjalan di bawah PT Mana Energi Pratama atau MEP dengan lokasi proyek di Batu Balai, Bengkulu. Saat ini yang terbesar ada di kawasan Pulau Sumatera, Jawa, Sulawesi, dan Nusa Tenggara. Dalam prosesnya, saat ini PT Catur Elang Perkasa sudah bekerja sama dengan Googler Water Turbine dan sedang mengembangkan di wilayah Dominanga, Sulawesi Utara dan bekerja sama dengan PT Sulawesi Global Energy.
Hello YouTube, thank you for your time and opportunity. We from Syndicate 11 will explain about scenario planning at PT Catur Elang Perkasa. This is the workflow of scenario planning using deductive method. We start at user definition, key focal issues, driving forces, and all the way down to implication and options. Catur Elang Perkasa is a national EPC company which had several business lines such as EPC, operation and maintenance, and investment. Main clients in EPC and O&M came from oil and gas, such as Pertamina, Chevron, Total, Medco, PetroChina, etc. Other than that, in the last 12 years, Catur Elang focusing on renewable energy and had 2 mini hydropower plants and also EPC service in solar energy as our newest innovation in late 2019. Catur Elang was born as general construction company, mostly in communication industry. They built communication tower and buildings for communication providers in Indonesia. Catur Elang keep expanding their construction capabilities to oil and gas industry, clean energy, water and wastewater, infrastructure, and industrial and manufacturing. In 1997, Catur Elang started O&M service for communication company to retrieve money from payphone around Indonesia and had several O&M contracts with oil and gas company. In 1999, Catur Elang began to expand their service by acquiring one of trucking company. In 2005, associate in technology service and runs their digital service through subsidiary. In 2010, Catur Elang started their own investment and financing business, especially in green industry, such as water treatment plant, sewage treatment plant, mini hydropower plant, and now in the late 2019, they started in a solar energy business as well. In 2012, Catur Elang became integrated EPC company. In 2020, Catur Elang expanding their service to export of sea product. And while Catur Elang continued to transform and expanding their services to adapt with the market dynamics. This is the key focal issue that we would like to focus on, is how PT Catur Elang Perkasa become leading green EPC in Indonesia, especially on renewable energy.
In the previous slide, we already talked about what the background of PT Catur Elang Perkasa. Starting in 2012, Catur Elang Perkasa has become an integrated EPC company. And nowadays, one of the biggest issues is green energy. Before that, I would like to explain a little bit about what is green energy. So green energy is any energy types that is generated from natural resources, such as sunlight, wind, or water. And this energy does not pollute the environment. So because of this issue, Catur Elang Perkasa wants to lead the green EPC in Indonesia. Okay, so in the stage 2, the key focal issue is how PT Catur Elang Perkasa become leading green EPC in Indonesia, especially on renewable energy. Stage 3 is driving forces. In the stage 3, which we need to identify of any driving forces that lead Catur Elang Perkasa to become a leading green EPC. So the driving forces are divided into 3 sections. The first one is organizational environment. The second one is transactional environment. And the last one is contextual environment. Okay, so the organizational environment, these driving forces that in the organization itself, in this case that any factors that drive Catur Elang Perkasa become a leading green EPC. Starting from leadership commitment, business strategy, financial strength, business development and research, asset utilization, employee capability, operation efficiency, and collaborating tools. And then the next one is transactional environment. These driving forces that involve any transaction for the business, such as customer demand, market price, strategic partners, supplier availability, and competitor movement. And then the last one is contextual environment. These driving forces related to the environment, such as decreasing of fossil fuel, availability of natural resources, infrastructure readiness, geographical, environment awareness, and government policy. Okay, so the next step is the stage 4, critical uncertainties. In this step, we can define the driving forces from how much the impact and the level of uncertainties. As you can see, if the position in the axis is more to the right, meaning the impact is high, and then the Y line, if the position of the driving force is high, then the force is uncertain. This stage will help us to define which forces that really impactful, but also really uncertain. For example, as you can see in the number 18 and 19, government policy and environment awareness are defined as the driving forces which have high impact and also high uncertainties. And this become our benchmark to continue to stage 5. And for the next step, we'll explain by my colleague. Thank you.
Scenario framework. On the previous slide, critical uncertainties, we choose 2 factors with the highest score on impact and also highest score on uncertainty, which are government policy and environment awareness. For the scenario framework, we divide it in 4 quadrants, which are challenging situation, favorable situation, chaos situation, and no excitement situation. Scenario. On the challenging situation, company can diversity business line between the existing and renewable energy. It also Pareto investment to maintain sustainability. And the last one is collaborate with NGO and environmental activists. For the favorable situation, company can continue the green EPC business. Company also can invest more to do research and development, shifting from the existing business, strengthen the company image, increase the market segment, and company also synergy with government program and policy. For the chaos situation, in this situation, company can strengthen existing business. Company also can liquidate assets of renewable energy business. And the last one is find alternate business line as the Earth curve. The last situation, no excitement situation, company can collaborate with government and NGO to encourage usage of renewable energy. Company also can participate in awareness program to promote products of renewable energy. And the last one, company build brand positioning as pioneer of renewable energy. Narrative scenario. Challenging situation. The environment activists demonstrate to government related the policy for renewable energy and supported by the EPC company that issue about ownership of solar power plant. This policy incriminated especially for EPC companies. This policy is not suitable with the increasing of environment awareness. On favorable situation, in order to support bauran energi baru terbarukan, the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Resources released the new regulation related to the solar power plant installation. This regulation will regulate about incentive for industry and residential that install the solar power plant. The public's interest is quite high, as can be seen from the installation of the solar power plant, which has increased by up to 10% in a quarter. For the chaos situation, Indonesia became one of the biggest contributor of carbon footprint in the world. The main factor are the low of awareness, and also there is no government policy that support about environment preservation and renewable energy usage. For the no excitement situation, the increasing of carbon footprint over the world, the government expect the Indonesian citizen can move to the renewable energy. To support this, the government will release capex-free ownership program solar power plant with low interest, and also will collaborate with the all engineering, procurement, construction, or EPC companies in Indonesia.
Now, I will take this opportunity to talk about the stage 8, which is the early warning signals. We also divide it into 4 situations based on government policy and also environment awareness. For the first situation, which is the challenging situation, many demonstrations from environment activists related to the renewable energy usage and reducing the CO2 emission. The PLN reduces the portion of export solar power plant from customer housing, and there is a difficulty for ownership of renewable energy power plant. For the second situation, which is the favorable one, the supply for oil, gas, and coal is declining, and as expected, the price will increase. And for the environment awareness is also increasing. There is high number for solar power plants construction and high number of variants for solar power plants products with affordable price. For the third situation, which is the chaos situation, many power plants do not use the renewable energy, and the government doesn't allow the ownership of renewable energy power plant. The PLN revokes the export rights for solar power plant from customer housing, and there is increasing of carbon footprint in CO2 and CO2 in Indonesia. And for the fourth situation, which is the no excitement situation, there is a low number of environment awareness, and the number of cells for solar power plant is stagnant. The government released the policy regarding incentive for renewable energy ownership. After we find those early warning signals, we will move to the next stage, which is the implication and option that will be explained more by my teammate.
Moving to the stage 9, the implications and options. On this slide, I will take the opportunity to explain about the implications and options from the early warning signal that my colleague already explained on the previous slide. We will start off from the far left quadrant, the challenging situations. On these challenging situations, we can see several implications. The first one is the disruption of business stability, especially in oil and gas industry. It is caused by the unbiased regulations for the benefit of the customer. On these conditions, the options that Catur Elang can take are: the first one, collaborations with environment activists to build positive brand image, and on top of that, initiate the associations of renewable energy companies to persuade the government to make a clear and beneficial regulations both for end user and also for the customers. Moving to the next quadrant, the far right quadrant, which is the favorable conditions. On the favorable conditions, we can see that the renewable energy is the new promising industry for Catur Elang Perkasa to explore further. The implications on these conditions is the shortage of basic resources in productions, in which that will directly impact on the increasing operating costs and also decreasing revenue due to declining of their users. On that conditions, Catur Elang can make several moves. The first one are the securing license as renewable energy company from the government, focus on market development for renewable energy, and the last one, building brand awareness on renewable energy. Those three options should be taken in order to get most profit out of the renewable energy industry. Moving to the next quadrant, the lower left, which is the chaos conditions. On the chaos conditions, we can understand that the renewable industry is the less profitable industry. It is signed by the implications of unsupportive government regulations towards the growth of renewable energy, and also the uncontrollable carbon dioxide and also carbon emissions due to low in people awareness. The options that Catur Elang Perkasa should take on such conditions, of course, they need to make a shift from renewable energy industry and also pursue another business line opportunity in order to maintain their profitability. Now, the last quadrant, the no excitement quadrant. On the no excitement quadrant, the implications that we can see are profitability remains stable, the emerging of renewable energy business, and also more renewable energy power plant being built by the government. On these conditions, the options that Catur Elang Perkasa should take are the allocate resources to penetrate the renewable industry and then start to build their brand positioning in order to be the pioneering of renewable industry company in Indonesia. Those are some implications and options that we can take from the early warning signal. Now I will move it over to my colleague in order to explain the integrations out of those four quadrants.
Now we have come to the last stage, stage 10, the integrations. In here, we will try to answer the key focal issue, how PT Catur Elang Perkasa become leading green EPC in Indonesia, especially on renewable energy. We will do the integrations by combining between the options that we have written on the previous slides based on the early warning signals and its implications with how we could apply these options into our management process. So there are four situations here. We have challenging, favorable, chaos, and no excitement situation. So the first one for the challenging situation, this is when the government policy is unregulated and the environmental awareness is high. What happened is that the government neglects to regulate, yet the public is concerned about the green energy. There will be also people who will persuade government officials to establish beneficial regulation in regards to the renewable energy. There will be also a join with global NGO to induce government in adopting international policies on renewable energy. There will be also diversifying the business line between existing and renewable energy. The second situation is the favorable situations. This is when the government policy is regulated and the environmental awareness is high. So renewable energy business will be very promising due to the well-regulated industry supported by high awareness on the environmental sides. There will be acceleration for business expansion to the renewable energy. and pioneering the business to be market leader. For the third situations, this is the chaos. This is when environmental awareness is low and the government policy is unregulated. What happened is that the low awareness for renewable energy from government and public. So renewable energy will be not promising as the new line of business. There will be shift from the existing renewable energy and pursuing the other business line opportunities. For the fourth situation, this is when there is no excitement. So the government policy is regulated and the environmental awareness is low. So the regulation and environmental awareness are inversely proportional to depth the renewable energy. The appropriate timing to penetrate the business segment is in this situation, and this is to build positioning as pioneer of renewable energy. So I think that will be all of our explanation for the scenario planning. And this is the end of our presentation. Hope you find this presentation insightful and enlightening. Thank you. Have a good day.